Hello from a very rainy Kansas. It is Saturday, and so I just finished a shift at our local thrift store. I do try to volunteer at least once a month. Sometimes I'm able to get in two. So we're getting a little bit of a later Saturday start than we normally would, but it's rainy and we had really no plans for the day. Sam and I are going to do a little bit of a date night at the symphony tonight, so I'm a little bit more dressed up than normal. Got me a new shirt from our local thrift store, $2.99, boom, and it's torrid, bang. So we are headed up to Salina, and we are going to do some looking at Hobby Lobby, some looking at Joann's, and some other things. So we're going to take you along for the ride. Let's get going. We're a little bit into the drive. We're about halfway to Salina. We're about an hour away total, so we're about 30 minutes roughly from Salina. It's still raining, and according to AccuWeather, it's not currently raining in Salina, but as soon as we get there, it's supposed to start raining. Of course, that's just how things tend to go, right? We're about halfway there, and I'm going to kind of show you what the weather looks like, so you kind of know what we're dealing with. Alright, as you can see, it is a very, very dreary day, and you can kind of see the sun is trying to break through in places, but as you can tell way down there, it's just not going to happen today. Granted, I think fall has finally reached Kansas. Thank gracious for that, because I was really tired of all those $100-degree days. Hey, if it was raining $100 bills, I'd be really happy about that. So we are just on the highway, interstate, headed up to Salina in the rain. Yeah, typical rainy day in Kansas. Saturday date day, we went to Carlos O'Kelly's for lunch. Carlos O'Kelly's has a really special place in our heart. We ate there a lot when we were first married, and so getting to go there every once in a while kind of brings back fun little memories, of 12 years ago. So that's always a good lunch. I had the beefsteak fajitas, which were yum. Sam, when I had to run to the restroom before lunch, he got us a guacamole and cheese queso sampler, so we shared that. Sam had the Cinco sampler, and how was that, babe?
Same as always.
Same as always? Pretty good?
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something somewhere that's really inexpensive and you don't have like a Chili's or an Applebee's around, Carlos O'Kelly's is a great option for a inexpensive meal for two. It was about $43 after our military discount and tax, and we just left the remainder of the $50 for a tip. Lexi was our server, and she did fantastic. She made sure that we were taken care of, but she wasn't overbearing. Sometimes you can have a wait staff that, they're just right there all the time. She wasn't. She let us enjoy our meal in peace, but also made sure that we were taken care of. So after that, we kind of wandered around the mall a little bit, which was fun. We used to do that a lot when we were living here in Salina. So we kind of wandered around, found a few pieces at Riddle's Jewelry that Sam put on layaway for Christmas gifts. So I love Black Hills Gold jewelry, and we found a couple pieces that were on sale at Riddle's, and they were just beautiful. One is a black bracelet, and it's got inlaid Black Hills Gold, and it just pops. I absolutely love it. And I also found a pair of dangle earrings that were on clearance. And go me. And so we just put those on layaway for Christmas. Sorry, location change. Popped out of the truck because it is raining. Sam's been dropping me off at the front of the store. So then we kind of just wandered around the mall a little bit, went into Joann's, and I filmed a favorites video. So be watching for that to come up on favorites week. Now we are in a new store. We're in Hobby Lobby. So I will probably do another video here, and we'll catch you in a little bit. So we've been wandering around in Hobby Lobby and the Christmas stuff, and I can't wait to show you some of the cute things we found. Welcome. It's look.
Man's almost as big as me.
He is. Set him on the ground. Hold on. Let me back up. That.
Check, please. Katie, check.
Wow, he is almost as tall as you are. So what? About maybe 6 foot tall.
I'm 6'3", so he's probably
5'10".
I would guess 5 foot.
And right now, as of the video, a lot of their Christmas stuff is 40% off.
Really big dunce cap.
That's a really big dunce cap. Here's some nutcrackers. And these are for decorational purposes only. So.
He's a $200 nutcracker.
Yeah, he's really for decorational purposes only. Santa, stop here. Merry Christmas. Gingerbread houses, bird houses, big bows. So much Christmas stuff.
Noel.
Oh, as you can tell, Christmas is one of Sam's favorite times of year, and he really gets into it. So we're out of Hobby Lobby. I'll be watching for a really funny Christmas video coming up during Vlogtober. It was fun to kind of just wander around and have like no expectations of we were gonna buy something or not buy something. It was solely just wandering around.
And I need a brush.
Huh?
And Sam needed a brush.
Oh yeah, and Sam needed some new paint brushes. So there was a point to go in there, but it was like that was the final thing we were gonna do was pick up paintbrushes. So then we wandered down, kind of browsed around through Dollar Tree a little bit and into Ulta and Ulta Beauty a little bit. There was a lot of people in both stores, so I decided not to video in there. I mean, everyone knows what Dollar Tree looks like, and everyone knows like about Ulta. So it was like, I think I'll be okay not videoing. I'll just talk about it later. So now we are headed off to Sam's to do something really, really exciting. We are going to pick up the second to last batch of gift cards for our upcoming trip. We are almost paid off. And we will have this paycheck, and then it'll finally be paid off next paycheck. We talked about it, and we would have paid it off this trip, but we decided to purchase the Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam dessert party tickets this time, just to ensure that we actually got them for the date that we wanted. So we're like, well, it kind of just, it's a wash because we would have done next paycheck. So it's always exciting when you pay off a trip, whether it's a Disney trip, whether it's Universal, whether it's any type of other trip that you're doing. Sam says Martha's Vineyard. It's always exciting to pay off a trip or pay off something that you've been paying on for a while. So, that's exciting. High points of the weekend. It kind of helps make all those extra hours that Sam's had to put in working. Woo! Bouncy. A little more worth it, with the overtime and stuff, being able to make a really big payment today. So, yay. Alright, Sam's getting ready to drop me off, and we're gonna go into Sam's. Dylan's run and done. And we have our gift cards, which I will send off to our awesome travel agent Amanda, who will then apply them to our balance. Oh, it's such a good feeling. So now we are getting ready to go on our date. Sam got us tickets to a big band concert. So, and I probably won't be videoing during that, you know, copyright reasons and all. So, but I will tell you all about it after. So, we got home. The Glenn Miller concert last night, doors opened at 7, and then the concert officially started at 8, and it got I think that was like, what, about a half an hour intermission, I think? Roughly. We got out of the concert, I want to say like 10:15, 10:30, somewhere in there, and we made a stop to use, the lines were really long to use the restroom at the Stephiel. So we made a stop to use the restroom and then got on the road, and it was so foggy. If you follow me on Instagram, I was actually Instagramming from the ride home. It was so foggy. It was insane. On the interstate is 75. You can drive 75. We were driving between 65 and 70 at points because it was so thick you could not see in front of you. So, and then we got off the interstate and onto the highway, and the highway speed max is 65, and we were going between 55 and 60 because there's points where it like dips down into a valley, and it was like you dumped into a pot of soup. You could not see anything. And I was super worried about like deer and that kind of stuff jumping out. So we finally made it home around 11:30 last night, and I was awake by that point. And so I finished up my dinner because we had stopped and got some dinner before the concert at Martenelli's Little Italy. And so I finished up that and went to bed. So that's kind of an overview of where I left off the video. So I'll back up a little bit and like kind of give you a play-by-play. Once we got done at Kroger picking up our gift cards, we drove downtown to find a parking spot. We found our parking spot, and then we kind of just wandered around a little bit looking at the architecture, because we both love the antique architecture, and Salina is really doing a lot to try to bring back some of those facades that have been kind of covered up. And so it was really neat to see kind of what they had found as they were kind of stripping the newer facades off of the buildings. We decided that once we kind of wandered down a block and came back, Sam wants me to make sure and note that the district in Salina downtown is called the Historic Lee District, and that is named after the designer of Lee jeans, because he was originally from Salina. So he really wants you to make everyone to know that the designer of Lee jeans is from Salina, Kansas, and that's the district downtown that we kind of wandered around in is the Historic Lee District. So we parked and wandered around a little bit and came back up towards the theater and noticed that the will call box was already open. So we picked up our tickets and decided, well, why don't we go across the street to the Italian restaurant and grab just something small to eat. We weren't very hungry, considering, you know, we had just had lunch around 1 and it was only like maybe 3.5 hours later. So we went in, and they're like, well, we're booked, but if you can be in and out in an hour, we will go ahead and see you. And we're like, well, we're not ordering something really huge. We're just both getting like an appetizer and a drink, so that'll be fine. We were seated, we ordered, we ate, we paid, and we were out in about 35 minutes. And we were trying to figure out, okay, why is it so, I mean, it's Saturday night and it's a really nice restaurant, but we're like, okay, well, all these reservations must be coming from the concert. But then a big group of high schoolers walked in formal wear, and somebody else that was coming out goes, oh, why are you guys all dressed up? And they're like, oh, it's homecoming. And Sam and I looked at each other and went, pre-homecoming dinner. So that made more sense of why there were reservations booked at 6 o'clock. So we enjoyed that. Sam had a quarter of the antipasta salad, which had salad and salami and pepperoni, cardamom olives, pepperoncinis, and it was dressed in an olive oil and balsamic dressing.
Parmesan.
Oh, and with fresh Parmesan grated on top. And it was pretty massive for a quarter size. And there'll be pictures at the end of the video. There were so many pictures that I took of everything that I did some pic collages, and I will insert all these at the end of the video. And then I had the toasted beef ravioli with marinara, and they were so good. Oh my gosh, they were good. And while we were waiting, they brought us fresh bread. So we had bread and salad and ravioli. A really nice, while it was it was a decent amount of food. I think I counted 16, 18 pieces of ravioli for an appetizer, and I'm like, okay, we are really going to have to rethink our dinner reservations for Disney, because I was completely happy with the appetizer of the ravioli. So, but it was so good, and I ended up eating the rest of it when we got home later that night.
I figured you would. I even told you would.
He even told me I wasn't going to eat it all, and I think I only ate maybe 5 or 6 pieces while we were there. I was kind of full on bread. So after we left there, we continued walking around the other side because we had stayed on kind of the back side of the street, so we went on the other and wandered around. And I'm a person that is never cold. If I start saying I'm cold, like I'm either ill or it's really, really cold. And so I kept going, man, I'm cold, and Sam, finally, I kept going, no, honey, I don't need your jacket. No, honey, I don't need the jacket. Finally, he made me take his jacket, and I was very appreciative of that. And we saw some people that we knew that were also going to the Glenn Miller Orchestra concert, but we ended up not seeing them there. So it was nice to be able to chat with them for a few minutes, kind of outside while we were wandering around. And we were kind of trying to decide what to do at this point for an hour, because this one's only 6 o'clock and the doors don't open until 7, and it's cold, and we don't want to lose our parking spot because we got really decent parking. We weren't right in front of the theater, but we were maybe 10 or 15 parking spaces down on Main Street, or on Santa Fe Street, sorry. And so right next door to Martenelli's Little Italy is a cheesecake restaurant. It's called Robby's Famous Cheesecake.
It sounded like it was kind of new based on other people.
Yeah, and Sam, I don't know if you heard Sam, he said that kind of from what other people that we heard in the area talking about, it's a relatively new storefront there on Santa Fe. But I had the Snickers cheesecake, and Sam had the turtle pumpkin cheesecake. I couldn't remember if it was turtle or turtle pecan. We both had a bite of each, we each tasted each other's, so I'll give you my review, and then I'll let Sam give you his review. I'll start with his. The turtle pumpkin was fantastic. It wasn't oh, here's a little bit of pumpkin spice, on the top. The cheesecake itself tasted like a pumpkin pie filling. It was fantastic. And the turtle toppings on it were amazing. It just really pushed the cheesecake over the edge. And I'm so mad because my picture of it disappeared. So I don't know if it didn't take and I didn't realize it or what. My Snickers cheesecake was amazing as well. The bottom, the crust was like a chocolate type crust, so it's supposed to be the outside chocolate of the Snickers bar, and the cheesecake portion tasted like the inside of a frozen Snickers, that kind of creamy, ice creamy taste. That is what the cheesecake part tasted like. And then it had caramel and chocolate drizzle on top, and there is a picture of that in the pic collage at the end of the video. What I did like about it is there wasn't any nuts on it. So if you had a nut allergy, you could still eat it. Like, there was an itty bitty square of a Snickers bar on top, and like it was maybe a quarter of a bite-sized Snickers. There was like hardly any Snickers there. So that might have been like the only peanut, but like you could kind of maybe take out that portion on top if you had a nut allergy. But other than that, there was no nuts, and I didn't really taste like a nutty taste in it. So it was fantastic. Now I will let Sam tell you about the cheesecakes from his perspective.
Okay. I'm very much of an original cheesecake person. I normally don't do the flavors, but both these flavors we did try were amazing. The Snickers, it felt more like eating a Snickers ice cream bar than it did just a Snickers cheesecake. As well as my turtle pumpkin. I love anything pumpkin. I've even seen the post on Facebook here lately where you need that pumpkin patch. That's me.
Any other comments on them?
The only thing I would also add is it did look like they had a keto option. It's just the keto option by the time we did get there was sold out that day.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But that's about all I have to add.
Okay. Forgot about, Sam's right. I forgot about the keto option. There was a sign like over on the side that said keto option, but it said sold out. But we definitely both said that we are going to do like another concert or something at the Stephiel, and we will definitely make sure to make reservations, number one, for Martenelli's, maybe for like 5 o'clock, so that we'd have a couple hours to sit and enjoy and not feel so rushed for our meal. And two, that we really want to try that keto cheesecake, because we have a lot of friends who are doing keto, and to be able to have something like that, like to be able to take to a event or like a party or give as a gift, have a keto cheesecake would be a great option.
I think the whole cheesecake would be roughly the price for like if you were going to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, their prices were really reasonable. One slice was $6 1/4, and a full cheesecake I think was like $64 or $65. Because a half was like $35.
A half was $35 and a full was $55.
Okay, a full was $55. So I mean that's really, really reasonable for a cheesecake, especially if you compare it, like Sam said, to Cheesecake Factory. So we do have several things coming up for the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, where
Holiday party.
And we've got a holiday party and stuff coming up that we're doing. So I think we'll probably end up ordering a full cheesecake from there for one of those upcoming holidays. For Thanksgiving, my dad always makes all the pies for that, and so we probably, except for one, Sam makes the pecan. But then at Christmas, since there's so many goodies and stuff that are like there at the holidays, I don't know if we'll do it for Christmas. It might end up being our Christmas party. We might end up doing cheesecake for dessert for our Christmas party. So that'll probably when we try that. But I really do want to try that keto cheesecake. So by the time we left the Cheesecake Factory, it was it reminded me of Cheesecake Factory. When we left Robby's famous cheesecake, it was about 20 till 7. So we went back to the truck because we still had stuff that I wanted to drop off in the truck. I had my big Minnie Mouse bag that I got at the Disney outlets on our trip over Labor Day, Friday, birthday. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description below. But I had that, and I had my purse and stuff inside of it, and I didn't really want to have that big bulky bag in the theater, so I wanted to drop that off in the truck, touch up my makeup before we went in. And so by the time we did all that, it was like 5 till, and then they opened the doors and we were able to kind of explore the theater. It's such a beautiful theater. It's been restored, and they've even matched, the carpet is all new, but they matched it to the original carpet that was in there. And they've got the lighting fixture up on the ceiling is the original lighting fixture from the original theater. And so there's like I said, there's photos of all this at the end of the video. It's absolutely stunning. If you have a chance to go to the Stephiel Theater in Salina, go, even if it's just to be able to kind of look at the outside of the theater. They do have the old ticket box still in front of the theater, and the door to get in it is amazingly small. It would be for like that, like extra small, you know, you see extra small shorts at the store and you're going, that would fit like my big toe, and that would be like the size to have to like squeeze into this ticket booth because there is not much space in there. So the concert started and I did take some pictures. They said no audio, which of course would get me copyrighted claims anyway. No flash photography, but I was able to get pretty decent pictures from where we were at. We were in section L, seats 12 and 13, so we were right on an aisle. I prefer to be on an aisle because sometimes I have to run and use the restroom. So it was a really great place. I was able to get photos kind of in between people. The band has been going on full time since 1953. Prior to that, it was really interesting. The conductor gave a lot of history about the band, like from the time that Glenn Miller kind of did the band until in 37 to when he disappeared in 44.
December 15th, 1944.
Yeah, December 15th, 1944. Wow, lots of things happen on your birthday, dear.
Well, some of them are negative.
Yeah, that's it. Sam's birthday is December 15th. So Walt died on Sam's birthday. Glenn Miller disappeared on Sam's birthday. Sheesh, what's wrong with you, dude? Now I'm really gonna make him feel bad. After the Glenn Miller Story movie came out in the 50s, there was this big push to have the band revive because it had in 1956 it was relaunched and it has not disbanded since. And the current conductor said he's been with the band for 8 years now. And so we actually thought we were going to be the youngest people there, and we weren't. There were like maybe junior high to high school kids there, and they were like, Mom, we've played this in jazz. I'm going, awesome. The fact that younger kids are still into the big band style of music really, really was awesome to, you know, hear kind of their conversation going on. Do you have any thoughts on the concert?
I love big band.
We both love big band. One of our first dates was a big band concert, so that was very special to us because it kind of relived some of, you know, our dating years. And I can't wait till they
go back to big band and dinner clubs.
Yeah, big band and dinner clubs. That would be like the ultimate date for us, is a big band and a dinner. Like, you know, where you see in the movies, like I Love Lucy, where it's on, where the band's playing and they're sitting at the little tables and, you know, the waitresses are serving and everything.
Like you see in White Christmas.
Or like in White Christmas.
Carousel Club.
At the Carousel Club.
Quality in the movie in and of itself, is a dinner club. So
yeah,
it's a dinner club for holidays only.
As you can tell, we both really like older movies. I prefer the versions that have been a little bit more like where they've colorized them for the period. I'm not
colorized.
I don't like black and white movies for some reason. I don't know why. I think some of them can be really slow moving, and I think that's why. But that's a whole totally different subject.
Best movie of all time is black and white.
What's that?
Casablanca.
Oh yeah, that is good. I think that's been colorized too, hasn't it? Yipes! I should have told Sam that. Casablanca. Sam says the best black and white movie is Casablanca. Do you agree? Comment below and let us know if you think Casablanca is the best black and white movie. Sorry, some wind coming in. So we had intermission and we were able to purchase a couple CDs. We purchased, hold on. Okay, so we purchased 2 CDs. They did have a female singer that came and kind of performed some of the songs with the band, just like they would have been done with the Glenn Miller. And we got her CD. Her name was Hannah Truckenbrod, and the CD's name was Nobody Else But Me. And her website is hannahtruckenbrod.com, and I will link that down below. And we also got the Glenn Miller Orchestra live and in stereo, featuring the greatest hits, as directed by Nick Hilscher. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I think this is the current conductor, and he's really funny, and he looked like he was our age. And he said he's been conducting for 8 years with them, and he's got his own CD, which we didn't end up purchasing. They ran out. And but he's covered everything from Elvis up to Hank Williams Sr., and that made everyone laugh, because you're going, wow, that's a really broad range of music.
And his impersonation of Come Fly With Me by Frank Sinatra was just beyond explaining.
Oh my gosh, that's so...
Frank was on stage.
That's a really good point. He did Come Fly Away, because with the Glenn Miller Orchestra Band, and I think everyone's mouth in yeah, it just was jaw-dropping. And I mean, it wasn't like, oh, he sounds like Frank Sinatra, which he did, but it was that way that Frank Sinatra could sing and just absolutely pull you into the song is exactly what he did. So I will try to find his website, because he said he had one, and I will link that in the description below as well. But this is the CD we got from them.
I didn't buy any of the recorded ones from studios, simply because I have a lot of the 78s and 33s that were originally from Glenn Miller. So to me, to buy something that were, a more updated version of the same thing, I just didn't understand that. But what we bought was, the live version, as well as
Hannah's CD
album
to support her. So it was a wonderful concert. If you love big band and you want to try to catch them in concert, it's GlennMillerOrchestra.com, and I will link them in the description below. Something that was really neat, when I got home, I added my collages to my Instagram story, and I tagged the Glenn Miller Orchestra on Instagram, because they're on Instagram, and they shared them onto their Instagram story and said, amazing photos from a fan at tonight's concert. So that was like, oh my gosh, the Glenn Miller Orchestra shared my Instagram story, which was, I know, kind of nerdy, but it was really neat. And because I really enjoyed being able to share the photos with them, and I'm glad they got to see those. Oh, it was just a wonderful night. And then, like I said, we made a stop to use the bathroom on the way out, because the lines, they're doing a lot of renovations at the Stephiel, and so some of the bathrooms were not accessible to us, and some of the restrooms were upstairs, and the ones upstairs had a really long line, and I did not feel right using the ones downstairs, because it was an older crowd, and I didn't want to take one of the downstairs one from someone who could not use the stairs, because there is no elevator. There's no elevator in the building. So I just didn't feel right. So we just made a quick stop at the gas station, and then we headed home. And like I said, it was super foggy, but it was just the best night. It was a wonderful date. Like I said, if you have not seen the Glenn Miller Orchestra and you want to, I will link their website down below. He said that they play 48 out of the 52 weeks in the year, and they're usually doing 5 to 7 concerts a week. So I mean, if you figure, 42 times 5, that's a lot of concerts.
They said over 200 concerts a year.
Yeah, over 200 concerts a year. Oh, that's just, and what was really neat is, not when you think of big band, you think of your grandparents, your great grandparents, maybe sometimes your parents, but there were members of the band who were our age or younger that were part of this orchestra, because they grew up loving big band and they want big band to continue to thrive. One of the most yeah, and they were spread from all over the U.S. The lead saxophone player, who also played the clarinet, he was from Anchorage, Alaska. So you had Alaska, and then you had all the way down into Florida. So literally you had from the top to the bottom of the U.S., catty corner, represented, and everywhere in between. And so it was just a wonderful concert. We are going to go again. They said the last time that they had been there was in 2016, but they hope that they don't have to wait 3 years to come back. So we're hoping to either catch them again there or be able to find another location that's close that we can go see them. That is our overview of the trip, of our Glenn Miller day yesterday. Anything else you want to add?
If you want big band, yes, you have the Glenn Miller Orchestra, which is beyond phenomenal. But there are other ones that are going to possibly be in your area. For example, we have one that comes out of Lincoln and goes to our Fest every year.
Oh, yeah.
The Robby Orchestra.
Oh, yeah, the Robby Orchestra.
There's one, the Wichita Grand Opera for Valentine's Day is having a big band dinner and dance, or dinner and performance in February. Okay. So there are other options that may be in your area. If you are interested in big band or love big band like we do, feel free to browse your area. You never know what you may find.
Don't be limited to just this one particular big band.
Because we love Bobby Langley and Trudy Dumais.
Oh,
Trudy's
yeah.
Still with them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to find out. So I will find the websites for those two, the Valentine's Day Big Band and for the Robby Orchestra, and link them in the description below. So with that, we're going to end this video. We hope you enjoyed our overview. We hope if you're in the Salina area, and we hope that you try Martenelli's Little Italy. It's fantastic. Make sure and stop by for some cheesecake for dessert, because while I thought the creme brulee that somebody else had looked amazing, I guarantee it wasn't as good as the peach cheesecake was. It may have been, but I wouldn't have liked it as much. So with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please share with your friends and family. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get all the notifications. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the theme parks.